Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to talk about evaluating expressions today. So evaluating expressions is when we plug in a number for a variable. Okay, so sometimes we write this as a t-table. So we have our expression here, which is x plus 5. And this table is telling me x is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what's going to happen with each of those is what we're trying to figure out. So here, if I plug in 1 for x, that would be 1 plus 5, which we know is 6. If I plug in 2, that would be 2 plus 5, which we know would be 7. 3 plus 5, if I plug in 3 for x, would be 8. And 4 plus 5 is going to equal 9. Okay. Now, most of us probably could have done that in our head, and that's totally fine. We're just kind of getting back into the groove of things. Okay. Make sure if you do plug in a negative number that you do put it in parentheses, especially if there's something in front of that variable. Okay, so let's evaluate a little more complicated expression. So here I'm going to put 4 for x. This 4 is coming down here, and then I'm going to put that 4 in parentheses there. So I know I have to do my multiplication, because otherwise it might look like a 44 if I just wrote it in. Or you could have written it as 4 parentheses 4 times 4 minus 10 squared. Either would be acceptable. Okay. So then remember, we need to follow PEMDAS. Okay, so we need to do everything inside parentheses first. Okay, and once we're in the parentheses, we still follow the PEMDAS. So we would do our multiplication and division first, then addition, subtraction. There's no exponents inside this set of parentheses. So we're going to do 4 times 4, which is 16. So we'll have 16 minus 10 squared. And then we're going to go ahead and do the inside parenthesis here. 16 minus 10 is 6 squared. And then we'll go right on ahead and do 6 squared, because we're going to do our exponent part. So 4 times 36, and 4 times 36 would give me a nice 144. Okay, so remember, after we plug in the value, we want to make sure we're following PEMDAS to get our answer all the way through. Okay. All right, same idea here. We just have a different variable. So we have 75 plus 60 times t. So if t is 0, we'll have 75 plus 60 times 0. Well, 60 times 0 is 0, plus 75 would just be 75. 75 plus 60 times 1. Well, 60 times 1 is 60, plus 75 would be 135. And then we'll have 75 plus 60 times 2, which would be 75 plus 120, because 60 times 2 is 120. And if we go ahead and add those together, that's going to give us 195. Go ahead and plug in 3 into the solution and see what you get. So that would be 75 plus 60 times 3, which would be 75 plus 180, which again would equal 255. Okay. Sometimes we'll have to plug in more than one variable, so just plug them both in. So here we would have 7 times a, which is 2, minus 5 times b, which is 3, plus 4. So all I did was I took my letter A and made it a 2, and took my letter B and made it a 3. Okay, and I put it in parentheses so I remember that I, in fact, need to multiply. Because anytime I see a number right next to another number with parentheses between them, that means multiply. So then I get 7 times 2 is 14, minus 5, which is 15, plus 4. And then I'm going to do my addition, subtraction left to right. 14 minus 15 would be negative 1 plus 4, which would equal negative 3. I'm sorry, not negative 3, positive 3. Okay, because negative 1 plus 4 would only take away $1. Okay. All right, I'm just going to move this. So if you need this, pause the video for a second, just so that way I have plenty of room to do this next problem. Okay, notice we have 2 variables right next to each other. Remember, that just means multiplication. So we're going to have 8 minus 2 times a, which is also 2, and b, which is 3. So then I'm just going to go ahead and multiply these all together. So I'm going to have 8 minus 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12. And 8 minus 12 will give us a nice negative 4. Okay. Same thing here, we're just plugging in more numbers. So we have a, which is 2, minus c, which is negative 6. Notice how I put that in a separate set of parentheses. And c is negative 6, plus 5. Okay, remember, like we talked about yesterday, when we're adding to, or subtracting a negative, we're really adding. So 2 plus 6 is 8. And negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. And 8 times negative 1 gives me a negative 1 over, or I'm sorry, negative 8. I apologize because we're multiplying. I am struggle busing. Okay. And that is it for our video. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.